Hi everyone, good evening. I'm sharing my screen. I hope everyone able to see my screen. Sirisha, Aditya, and others. The high level, I will talk about the definitions of the Java Whoops concepts. So as we have discussed in the previous sessions, Java Whoops is having the basic concepts of encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Okay, and we have seen the corresponding programming examples also in Eclipse IDE. I hope everyone is practicing at your desktop. So if anyone not started it, so please start practicing Java programming parallel to our sessions. So daily basis after completing our sessions, or else whenever you have a time, so please start practicing these programs. See, in this first, I'll go to the inheritance examples. So last time, because of the Eclipse ID, I couldn't able to show the execution. So I'm showing the execution now, and I will explain the technically high level once again the programming, how we will write the programs for the inheritance, encapsulation, and polymorphism and abstraction. So coming to sorry, inheritance concept, I will show the single inheritance first. If you see here, this is a single inheritance example. So what we will define in a single inheritance example, programming example. First, we need to write the package name, and then we need to define the parent class. So class name test11 is parent class. Okay, and inside the parent class, so after class name, we need to open the curly brace and we need to end the curly brace, and in between the curly braces, the class body, right? So inside the class body, we need to define the variables and methods of that class. So here in this parent class test11, I am defining a integer type of number variable, and I am initializing with integer value 20, because 20 is a numeric value, because num is a variable which is an integer data type. That's why I'm initializing with numeric integer number 20. Okay, we can assign any value, but we need to assign numeric value, either 5 more than 0. Okay, so we need to assign the integer number. So after defining the variable, in this example, we have defined one method. So always for method, we can give access modifier, either public, private, protected. Okay. If you give public access modifier for any method, this method will be accessible from other classes also. Okay. And if you give private, means this method will be used within the same class. So we can't access the private method from the outside classes. The protected means we can access from other packages also. So this is the difference between public, private, and protected access modifiers. So for this display method in this example, so we have given public access modifier, and we have given default void data type. So void data type means whenever we give void before a method name in any class, this particular method, it should not return any value. Whenever the method data type is void, that particular method won't return any value. This is the reason we haven't given return and some value. So we haven't written the line of code return some value because the data type is void for this method display. So whenever you write the method method name, that means the signature of the method, like access modifier, the data type and method name, and open bracket, close bracket is the syntax, the signature for the method name. So always method in Java, after the method name, we need to open a bracket and close bracket. So this is the signature of the method defining in a class. So after the method signature, we need to open the curly brace and close the curly brace. So always we need to remember, we need to, whenever we are opening a curly brace before after a method or after a class like this, so it's our responsibility to close the curly braces. So we need to ensure we are closing the curly braces properly. Then only we can able to execute the Java program successfully without any errors. So I have created a parent class test11, and inside the parent class, I have defined the variable integer num variable, and I am initializing with integer number 20. After that, I am defining a display method, and I am giving the definition of the method. So as we discussed in the previous sessions, whenever after a method, if you give curly braces, that means we are defining the method. When you give only semicolon after the display, after the method signature, that means you are only declaring the method. You should not define the method. That is for the abstraction. If the method is abstract, we should not give the definition like this. We should give only semicolon after the method signature. So in this we are giving the definition of the method for display inside the parent class. So parent class is having one variable, integer number variable, and one method. The method name is display. So in this single inheritance, first we need to create a parent class. Okay. And then we need to create child class. So we can call child class as, so derived class, subclass, all are same. Same the naming conventions like a subclass, derived class, child class, all are same only. So when we are creating a child class, because we already defined the parent class, so we should define the child class now in the single inheritance example. So for this, for defining the child class, we need to create a class, right? So for this in this example, I am giving public for the child class, public access modifier, and class name. So test8 is a child class name. Okay. And extends is a keyword we need to use for the inheritance concept. So whenever you are inheriting the parent class, the child class, we need to use the extends keyword. Okay. So public class name is test8, that is child class, which is extending the parent class test11. So test11 is a parent class. Okay. So public class name, the child class name test8 extends test11 parent class. That means we are inheriting the properties, that means variables and methods of the parent class in the test11 in the child class test8. So if you see here, the num variable we already defined in the parent class test11. The same num variable we are defining in the child class, integer num, same variable. But if you see, if you observe, in the parent class, the num variable value is 20. But in the child class test state, even though it is the same variable, because of the inheritance, we have inherited the same variable, but we are initializing with a different value, 10. So in this child class, we have initialized the num variable value as 10, even though the value of the same num variable in the parent class is 20. In the child class, we can change it. Okay. So in the after the defining a num variable and initializing the value with 10, we are defining a method, same method, because we already inherited extends test 11. So all the methods and variables are we can use in the child class test 8. So public void display, the same method, public void display, and we are giving the definition. If you observe, the definition of the display method in the parent class is this is the display method of superclass. Okay. In the system.out.println, we are asking to print this is the display method of superclass. If you observe in the child class, system.out.println,
వెంకట్ గారు
and
సారీ అండి.
yeah,
Could you
go
please
ahead.
make a little bit bigger font?
Okay, let me try. Because this is I have maximized I'm using desktop. I have maximized it, so I will check my set.
I mean, the program font is very small.
Oh, okay. You want to increase the text in the program.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second. How about now? One
Uh,
second. Let me increase. I will. I got it. The text is very small. You're saying.
yeah.
Okay. We will increase it. Font. Okay. Okay, Shirisha. I will
Thank
increase
you.
it. Yeah, welcome. So, I'm not sure because my keyboard. I'm trying it. It's not increasing.
Go to window or help.
I use shortcut, but it's not working in my keyboard. If it is a laptop, we can increase it. Desktop, it is not. My keyboard is not. That particular button is not working. It seems.
You can shift control and then right arrow so that you can increase the text size.
I'm trying that.
Shift control greater than something you press.
Yeah. Actually,
Or
I
else
have
there is a
tried.
plus. Look
Yeah,
like
yeah.
in menu under help, the icon's plus symbol is zoom out, right?
Here you're saying in these icons.
The left side, that one. Not that. Left. Right now, whatever it is selected in the second one.
Second means you're saying this one.
Yeah. Is it not zoom out?
No, this is for this window
Okay.
size. It seems. 1 second. Let me look at here more options. Normally, this arrow button is should work actually. No. Yeah, it's working now. 1 second. This plus shift control arrow plus symbol. I pressed it earlier, but is it visible now? Is it okay for everyone? The size, Sirisha and
Yeah,
others,
good. It's good.
is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, man. Thank you all. See, as I'm explaining, this is a parent. First, when we are writing any Java program, define the package and package name, and then the in the single inheritance example, this is a single inheritance example. We need to define a parent class. The parent class test11 is a parent class name. Okay, and inside the parent class name, we are defining a one integer variable, and we are initializing with integer number, the numeric value, because it's an integer data type. So 20. So, and we have defined another method, one method, display method. For that, we have given the public as access modifier. Void is a default data type. Whenever you are giving a void as a data type for a method, that method should not return any value. That is the reason we are not returning any value in this definition. We are simply wrote the logic for this, the lines of code for this method. So what we have written in for this method, the definition is we are asking system to print the value. So system.out.println is a method. We will use it to print the value. So what value we are printing here? This is the display method of superclass. So this is the definition of the display method in the parent class test11. So when we come to the child class, for child class I have given public as access modifier. Class is a keyword, right? Public class name, the child class name is test8, and we are using extends is a keyword for the inheritance concept. So whenever we are inheriting any parent class, that after the child class name, we should give extends keyword. So that is the reason we have given public as a access modifier. Class name is test8, that is child class name. After child class name, we should use extends as a keyword for the inheritance. So after extends, we need to give the parent class name. That is, in this example, parent class name is test11. That's why we have given parent class name is test11. So child class is test8, which is extending the parent class test11. So after that, we are initializing a value. We are defining the same numeric value. If you see in the test11, we have defined one numeric variable and we have assigned with integer number 20. Correct? The same, we have inherited this parent class in the child class test8. That meaning is we are inheriting the properties, that means variables and methods of that parent class in the child class. So that is the reason we have used the same variable integer num already defined in the parent class. In the child class also we are defining the same variable because we have inherited the parent class. When you see the value of the variable in the child class, it is a different value 10, but in the parent class for the same variable we have initialized with numeric number 20, but in the child class we have initialized with numeric value 10. That means we can change the value even though when you inherited the variable from the parent class, we can change the value in the child class. This is also one of the interview questions. Sometimes they will ask you to write a program and they will ask you first initialize some 50 value in the parent class and initialize some value. So what it will print, that they will ask you that kind of questions. So always you need to remember we can change the value of the parent variable in the child class. Okay. And also the parent class method is display method, public void display method. The definition is system.out.println, and we are printing this is the display method of superclass. What we have written, this is the display method of superclass. When you come to the child class test state, we are defining the same method because we have inherited the parent class. So the same parent class method we are using in the child class. So again, we defined a public void display, the same parent class method in the child class, but the definition is different. Why we are saying different? In the parent class, we are printing this is the display method of superclass, but in the child class, we are printing this is the display method of subclass. So this definition is different and this definition is different. That means, remember, even though we have inherited the parent class method in the child class, the definition we can change it. The same way, even though you inherited the variable of the parent class, the value we can change in the child class. So this is, just remember it. We can change the values and definitions of the parent class variables and methods in the child class. Okay. So after that, what we have done, we have created another method. If you see, see, public is access modifier, void is a data type, my method is a method name. If you see the parent class test 11, there is no method called my method. That means in the child class test 8, we have created a new method. That means that is a one method of test 8. This my method is not available in the parent class test 11. So we can create one methods of child class also. Okay. That is the reason after inheriting the parent class method and variables, we are creating the one method of child class. So we are defining another method which is belongs to child class. So the method name is my underscore method. We can give anything, but when you are working in the projects in in your organization, when you join the job, you should give the meaningful method names and class names based on your project, like a banking or insurance or health insurance, whatever projects assigned to you in your organization. You should give the naming conventions of the classes and methods based on your project. Okay. This is for the practice purpose. We are giving simple method names. So this is the one method of child class test 8. Okay. So in the child class test 8, when you open a curly brace, that means we need to close a curly brace. That means when you give the curly, when you are giving curly braces after the method signature, that means we are defining a method. Okay. Otherwise, if you give only semicolon, we are not giving any, you're not giving any definition. Okay. You're giving like this, public void my method after signature of the method, I'm giving semicolon. I'm not giving curly braces like this. I'm not writing any lines of code. I'm ending the method with semicolon. That means this is a abstract method. Okay. Then we should give public abstract void. That means this method is not defined, only declared. Whenever the method is abstract, we need to end with the semicolon. We should not define the method like this, curly braces and lines of code. That means we are defining it. So when you give semicolon, we are declaring the method. When we can declare when the method is a abstract method, that means we are hiding the definition of the method. But in this example, I am defining the method. That means after the sorry, we need to remove the abstract here because we are defining the method. This is the definition of the method, right? That's why after the method signature, I'm opening a curly brace and I'm ensuring I have closed the curly brace. And inside the method body, we can call this is method body. Inside whatever lines of code we have written, right? That is method body. So inside the method body, I have written the lines of code. What I have written, I have created a object. So we are creating an object, right? For which class we are creating object? As we all know, the previous sessions, how we are creating an object for any class. The syntax is same. Class name, object name equal to new is operator and class name. Okay. So in this my method, I am creating a object sub is object name for a class test8. So in this example, test8 means child class. Test11 means parent class. That means inside the my method, I am creating a object sub. Object name is sub, the sub object. So I am creating an object for the child class test8. So the syntax is class name space object name equal to new is operator and class name and ending with open bracket, close bracket. And after each line of code in Java, we need to end with semicolon. So this is the syntax for creating an object for any class in Java. So in this example, we have created an object sub for the child class test8. So inside the my method, it's a own method of child class. We have created the child class method. Inside that, we have created an object for the child class. So for any class, after creating an object, what we will do, we will call the methods or we will access the variables using the object reference. So in this example, object reference is sub, right? That means sub dot display. This is the way to call methods of that particular class. So in this test8, we have a display method. Okay. And parent class test11 also, we have a display method. But you have created an object for the child class. Test8 is a child class name. And you have created an object for the child class. And you are calling the display method using the child class object. Remember, this is also interview question. They will ask you how you will access the child class methods in the inheritance concept. What is the answer? We need to create an object for the child class and then we can call the child class methods. So in this example, sub is an object for the child class test8 and I'm calling the child class method display. Sorry. Yeah, correct only. Test11 display is this one and child class inherited the parent class. That is why the same parent class method we are defining in the child class. After creating a object, we are accessing the display method. In this case, which method will call? It won't call the parent class display method. It will call the child class display method because the object sub is belongs to child class. So That's why the invoking or calling same naming conventions are same, meaning is same. We can call invoking a method, calling a method. So invoking the display method of subclass. See here, subclass means child class. So test state is subclass, child class, derived class, whatever. The naming names are same. So here the child class is child class display method. We are invoking the child class display method. That means we are calling the child class display method, this method, using the object of the child class. And also, we have a way to call a superclass display method. How you can call superclass display method? Using the super keyword. If you see here, super is a keyword. We can use it to call the superclass methods and to access the superclass variables. So in this example, we are using superclass. The super is a keyword, which is a object reference to call the parent class. In Java, super is a keyword which we can use to call the parent class methods and to access the parent class variables. So in this example, we are calling display method of parent class. So class test11 is a parent class, right? So here we have a display method. So we are calling this display method using the super keyword. So in Java, this is also one of the frequent interview question. They will ask you without creating an object for the parent class, because we have created an object for the child class. We haven't created object for the parent class. How you can create parent class object? Like this, test11 object equal to new test11. If you give it like this, we can call like this also, obj dot display. Okay, that means you are creating an object. Test11 is a class name, that is parent class. In this example, test11 is a parent class, and class name, object name, new class name. That means I am creating object for the parent class test11. Okay, and after creating an object, I am calling display method. So this is a one way of calling the parent class methods. But in this example, I am not creating like this. I haven't created object for the parent class. That's why interviews they will ask this question. Without creating a parent class object, how you can call the parent class methods in the inheritance concept? Then you need to answer, we have a super keyword in Java. Using the super keyword, we can call the parent class method. That is the answer. So super dot display. In this, when you do super keyword, and that is super it will act as an object reference for parent class. So super dot display means this test11, the parent class display method will invoke, will call. So after in this my method, that is the own method of child class. Inside the my method, we have created an object for the child class, and using the object reference, we are calling child class display method, and using super keyword, we are calling super class display method. And after that, we are printing two values, system.out.println, and the value we are printing is the value of variable named num in the subclass. What we have given? The value of the variable in the, that means this one. Inside the test8, that means child class, after inheriting the parent class, we have used the same variable in the child class because we have inherited. So we have inherited the parent class variable, and we are using in the child class, but we are initializing with different number. In the parent class, the numeric variable number is 20. In the child class, the num variable value is 10. And in this system.out.println, I am printing the subclass, the child class num variable. So whatever text you are giving inside the double quotations in Java, it will print as it is using system.out.println. So inside the system.out.println method in Java, whatever value you are giving in the double quotations, that is a string value, right? It will print as it is. That means in the output you can see value of the variable named num in subclass colon. It will print as it is. In Java, when you are giving inside double quotations any value, system.out.println will print the same value inside the double quotations whatever we have given. After that, what we are doing, we are concatenating. Plus symbol means the concatenation of string with other value. So after this value, it will print the number. What number it will print? SUB is an object. If you see here, SUB is a child class object. That means when you are accessing variable, this variable, okay, the same variable in the parent class also. So in this example, you are not giving a super dot num. You are giving sub dot num. Sub means the child class object. So whenever you are accessing using child class object, the child class num value will print it. That means sub dot num. That means sub is a child class object. This child class object is sub, and the num variable value is in the child class is numeric value 10. So here it will print when you give sub dot num, it is accessing the child class num variable, and we are asking to print the value 10 in this system.out.println. So it will print the value of the variable named num in subclass colon and the value of the num variable in the child class, because we are accessing using child class object. Always in Java, even for variables and methods, we will access and we will call using the object reference. That's why we are created an object using object reference. We are accessing the variable. The same way, we have created another line of code, that is system.out.println. We are asking system to print the value of the variable named in superclass. That means we are asking to print this value as it is, till the colon. Within the double quotations, whatever value we have given, it will print as it is inside the when you give inside the system.out.println. And after that, we are giving plus symbol. We are concatenating. We are merging two values here inside the system.out.println. So what value we are concatenating after the string value? Super.num. Okay. If you see here, system.out.println, value of the variable named num in superclass super.num. We are concatenating this string value and this value. So it will print the string and the value. This method also it will print the string. After colon, it will print the value. That means the num variable value 10, it will print. So in this example, super.num means super is a keyword we will use to to access the parent class variable and to call the parent class methods using super keyword in Java. So that's why super.display means we are calling the parent class method. Super.num means we are accessing the parent class variable. So super.num means this test11 is a parent class. This is a number variable inside the parent class. So using super.num, it will access parent class num variable, and then it will print the value numeric value 20. Okay. So this is the definition of my method. That means my method is a own method created inside the child class test8, and inside the my method we have written lines of code, object creation for the child object, calling the child class method and calling the superclass method display using super keyword and printing the two values. This is the definition of my method, the child class. That means we can create own methods also in the child class. Even though we have inherited parent class, we can inherit the parent class variables and methods, and we can create own methods in the child class in the inheritance concept. So after that, this is the definition of my method, curly braces. So inside the curly braces, we have defined the method. And after that, we need public static void main. As we all know in the previous sessions, this is the method, main method in Java class. It is a mandatory to define. Okay. So because Java virtual machine, the JVM, whenever you are running this program, this class, the JVM will find this main method. So JVM is a Java virtual machine which will compile and run the program. So the JVM will identify the main method. So it will search for the main method. If there is no main method, example, if you are not defining this one inside the class, this program won't execute. It will throw error. There is no main method. That is the reason for the execution of every class in Java, we need public static void main method. And we are passing the string data type of arguments array. Okay. So this is the default signature. Sometimes we can write a string array of args. Sometimes we can write string of argument array. The meaning is same. Okay, don't confuse. Always the signature we need to give for the main method same. Public static. Public is access modifier. Static means if any method is a static, that means we are not overriding the method. Which is a we can't call this main method from the other classes. Okay, that means we can't override it. That's why always the main method is static method. We can use in the same class. And void is a data type. Whenever you are giving a void data type for a method, for any method, that method should not return any value. That's why main method is not returning any value. There is no like this, right? Yeah. Return some value. We have not written because void means the main method is void data type. So we should not return any value. Okay. So we have defined the code only inside the main method. Because Java virtual machine, when you are executing this class like this, right click, when you select the lines of code, there are multiple ways to execute a Java program. Right click on it after selecting the program, come to the menu run as and select the submenu Java application. Then it will print the value. In this example, when you are running like this, JVM will identify the main method and JVM will come to the main method and then it will come to the first line of code inside the main method. What is the first line of code? Test8 means child class name, object name equal to new is operator, test8 is a child class name. That means the syntax of the object creation in Java. Class name is a test8, object name is obj, new is operator, test8 is a class name. So for the child class test8, we are creating a object using this syntax inside the main method. So after creating a child class object, what we are doing? We are calling my method. See here, object reference dot my method means this is the way of calling the methods after creating object. So first we need to create an object and object reference dot method name. So what is the method name? My method. Where is my method? In the parent class, we don't have my method. We have only display method. The child class, we have a display method and my method. That means my method is belongs to child class test8. That is the reason we have created an object for the child class and using that object reference, we are calling the child class method my method. The my method is a name of the method in the child class test8. So that is the reason we are calling using the child class object. So child class object obj dot my method means the JVM will come to this method. Java virtual machine will, the control will come here and it will execute the lines of code inside this my method. Sorry. So inside the my method, as we have seen, we have created a child class object. We are calling the child class method using the super keyword. We are calling the super class method and we are printing two values. So when you execute this program, select the lines of code, right click on it, run as menu Java application. We have multiple ways. Okay, test 8. So we need to execute test 8. Run as test 8. If you see the output, this is the output. How it is printing, I will explain here. If you see, this is this program after running this class. Okay, this example, the program, then it printed. This is the output of the program. How it will print, I will explain now. One second, guys. 1 second. Sorry, I'm getting a call. Thank you all. I got a call from my son is going to college. So sorry for that. So as I informed, after executing the Java program, we have got this output. So how it is printing the output? If you see, first JVM will come to main method. So it will execute these two lines of code. So whenever you are executing any Java program, the Java virtual machine, it will find a main method. That's why always we need to create public static void main method. So it will come to the main method and it will execute the lines of code inside the main method in Java class. So what is the first line of code in the main method? Creating the object of child class test 8 and we are calling the my method. So first it will create an object and then using object it will call the my method. When it is called the my method, the control flow will go to my method. So in this my method, what we are printing these two values, right? What is the first system that println value? Value of the variable named num in subclass colon concatenating, that means combining with value, that is value is sub dot num, that means the child class object dot num. So it will access the child class num variable value. So that is the reason it is printing system dot, if you see here, right? See before this system two system dot println, we have called sub dot display super.display. That means inside the my method, JVM come to my method, and after creating object, it will call display method. So this is the child class object, and we are calling display method of child class object. That means in the child class, this is the display method. What display method definition? Here we are asking the system to print using system.out.println. The value is this is display method of subclass. That is the reason first it is printed. This is the display method of subclass. Okay, and after executing this line of code, it will the control flow will come to this line of next line, right? So the next line of code is super.display. That means we are calling the parent class display method. This display method. What is the definition of the display method in the parent class test 11? The definition of the display method is we are asking system to print using system.out.println. This is the display method of superclass. That's why second output is second line of output is this is the display method of superclass. The same thing, because the my method first we are displaying the child class value and then superclass method display value. That's why it's printed the child class display method output and superclass display method output. After that, it is printing these two values as we defined in these two lines of code. So what it is printing? Value of the variable named num in subclass. So the value of the variable num in subclass. See, as it is printing. So that means whatever you are giving system.out.println method inside the double quotations, it will print as it is in Java. So that's why it is printing value of the variable named num in subclass colon. And then we are concatenating. We are combining with another value. What is that value? Sub is an object of the child class, and we are accessing a num variable. That means using the child class object, we are accessing the num variable of child class. What it will print in system.out.println, right? We are accessing means we are printing the value. That means we are calling this accessing this num variable, and we are asking system.out.println to print means it will print the value of the variable. That means it is printed after colon 10. So that output is that sorry, the string value inside the double quotations till colon and then number 10, because child class num value is 10. So this is the third line of output. The fourth line output is system.out.println value of the this one value of the named num in superclass colon. So that's why it is printing value of the variable named num in superclass. Okay, and then super.num, that means superclass means test 11. Num is a variable, the value is 20. So we are asking, we are accessing the superclass num variable, and we are asking to print the value of the superclass num variable. So superclass num variable value is 20. That's why it is printing 20. So this is how after executing Java program, the output will print. So just remember, when you are writing a Java program, write a proper structure. First write the package name and semicolon, and each line you need to end with the semicolon. Example, class test 11. You should not end this because this is a class. Only lines of code only we need to end. Okay. So with the semicolon. So define the class and define using the curly braces. Okay. After the class, if you open a curly brace, make sure you are closing the curly brace, and inside that you are writing the lines of code of the class. Okay. And after, whenever you are defining the variables, define it and end with the semicolon. And whenever you are defining a method, after the method signature, open a curly brace and ensure you are closing the curly brace, and write the lines of code, and each line of code each line of code end with the semicolon. So this is the same structure in any Java program. When you are writing, you need to follow. Okay, so follow the proper structure when you are writing any Java programs, then only you can able to get the expected outcome like the below. So otherwise it will throw the errors. Okay. So this is the inheritance example. See, the concepts are same in any examples, right? We need to follow the same concepts. Class definition, the same way we will define in any throughout the Java. And inheritance means the same. The variable declaration, initialization is same. So the same concepts are same. So when we are understanding the Java concepts, so when you are writing any Java program for any project in your organization, so the basic concepts are same. Okay. So we need to remember all the basic concepts of core Java. If you come to the abstraction, as I mentioned, abstraction is nothing but we are hiding the definition of that method, right? So this is the abstraction example. What is abstraction example? This is the abstraction example. What we have written: package name, abstract is a keyword, class name is shape. So after, and I'm defining the abstract class. So I'm writing the lines of code, right? So abstract is a keyword, class. Before the class, we should give abstract keyword when it is an abstract class. So class name is shape. So the shape class name is the shape class is abstract class. Why means the inside the methods are abstract. That means draw is a method name in shape class, which is abstract type. Abstract type means we are semicolon. We are declaring it. We are not defining using the curly braces. Okay. So example, why draw like this? Why draw after that curly braces means we are defining the method. But here abstract method means always we will declare the method. We are ending with the semicolon. We are not defining like this. That is the abstract method. So inside the abstract class shape, we have an abstract method, draw method. The method name is draw. So this is the abstract class. Inside the abstract class, we have one abstract method. Okay. And then we are writing another class name. Rectangle is a class name, another class name. First class name is shape. That is a parent class. So second class name is rectangle. So extends is a keyword. So child class is extends, parent class shape. That means in the inheritance, this is also, even though it is abstraction concept, we are using inheritance. We can use it, right? That's why abstraction means when you use the abstract before the method, we should not define the method. We need to declare the method. So when we will define the abstract method of the parent class, whenever you are inheriting in the child class, that means child class rectangle is using the extends keyword inherited the shape class. That means this abstract void draw method, we will use it in the child class rectangle. So in the child class, after the inheritance inheriting the shape class, we will define the abstract method. See here, inside the parent class shape, we have an abstract method draw. When you are extending it, when you are inheriting this shape class in the child class rectangle, we can define the abstract method. This abstract method we are defining in the child class. This is also one of the interview question. They will ask you, interviewer, whether you can able to define the abstract method. You need to tell the answer. Yes, we can define the abstract method. How means whenever you have an abstract method in the parent class, when you're in any child class which is inheriting the abstract class, which is having the abstract methods, we will define in the child classes. So after the inheriting the abstract parent class shape, the abstract method of the parent class, we will define in the child class rectangle in this example. So That is the reason it is not a abstract now. Void, draw, and definition. So the parent class it is abstract method, but in the child class it is a normal method. That we can say concrete method. That means we can define the method. We are not declaring it. When it is abstract, we are declaring. When it is not abstract, we are defining it. So in the Java, the abstract method will be defined in the child classes. That is the answer. Okay. So after that, we are writing another child class. Class circle1 is a class name. First class child class is rectangle. Second child class circle1, which is also extending shape. That is parent class. The parent class is shape, which is having one abstract method. If you see the rectangle child class, we have defined the abstract method. Similar way, in the child class, second child class circle, we are defining the same method because this is also extending the shape. That means circle 1 is a child class extending parent class shape. That means the abstract method of the parent class draw method also defined in the child class circle 1. That's why void draw method, and we are giving the definition. So in the child classes, we can define the abstract methods, right? So after that, we will execute this program. Select this, right click, Java. If you see output, it is printing two values. Okay. How it is printing two values? See here. As I mentioned, always when you are executing a program, we need a public static void main. That's why we are giving public static void main. Okay. And I am giving simple test class name as class name. Test class name is test abstraction. We can give any name of the class, right? For the naming convention, we are practicing abstraction example here. I have given test abstraction. So class name, and the definition of the class is inside the class test abstraction class. I'm writing the public static void main method. The signature is same always. Inside the main method, what I'm writing the lines of code. First, I'm creating a object. So class name is shape. S is object name. New circle one. That means circle one is a child class. So I am creating a child class object. I'm referencing with the parent class. Even though this is a child class object only. Why means after new operator, whatever class name you are giving in this syntax, this is the syntax for creating object for a class, right? Here class name is parent class, object name is S, new, and child class name. If you see, this is the parent class, but this is a child class. So after new operator, whatever class name we are declaring, that this object belongs to that particular class. So here after new child class name I have mentioned. That's why S is the object of the circle one. The same way S1 is the object of the rectangle child class. So inside the main method, I am creating a two objects, two child class objects, and I am referencing with the parent class name. This is also interview question, guys. They will write this line of code. They will confuse you. They will say parent class name, okay, and then object name, new child class name. They will ask you which object this object will be belongs to which class. So normally we will see first the shape, right? That means we will say this object belongs to class shape. Shape is what? The parent class name. But but in this example, after the new operator, child class name is there. So circle one is a child class name. So remember always, even though we wrote this line of code like this, the object S belongs to child class circle one, because after the new operator, whatever class we are declaring, that object belongs to that particular class. So here circle one is a child class. That's why even though you are assigning with the shape parent class reference, class reference, but this S object belongs to circle one, because after new we are giving child class name. The same way S1 object for the rectangle child class, because after new operator we are giving rectangle child class name. So after creating the two objects of the two child classes, we are calling the methods, right? In this abstraction method, shape is a parent class which is having abstract method. We don't have definition because abstract method means we are hiding the definition. In the child classes rectangle and circle, we are having the methods, the same method. The abstract void draw. Draw is a method name, right? So the shape is a super class, the parent class. The method is draw, which is abstract. That is implemented. That means that is defined in the child classes. So rectangle is one child class, which is extending, inheriting the shape. So this draw method is defined in the child class. The same way, another child class inheriting the parent class, we are defining the abstract method draw method in the circle one child class also. After creating the two child class objects, we are calling the corresponding methods. S dot draw, that means S is the object of the circle one. So circle one method draw method means this method. So the output, what is the draw method definition? We are asking to print system.out.println drawing a circle. So this line of code JVM will come to main method. So this line of code will execute. Then after that it will create two objects, right? Second also this line of code will create rectangle child class object. It will, the JVM will come to this 40th line of code. It will do s dot draw. That means object dot draw method of child class circle. So the control will go to child circle class and this draw method will invoke. It will call in this line of code. Then it will print this value. What is the value? Drawing circle. So that is why the first output value is drawing circle. And then the last line of code in the main method is s1 dot draw. S1 is a method of rectangle class. So the control flow will go to rectangle class. What is the method? Draw method. Draw method, this one. What we are defining, we are asking to print drawing a rectangle. That's why it is printed drawing a rectangle. Okay. So this is how we need to write Java programs properly and we need to execute it. Execution means select the line of code and right click, run as Java, Java application submenu. And also we have another way, simply without selecting, go to this run button and select the class name. What is the class name here? Test abstraction. Okay, test abstraction, this one. So when you click and run this one, it will print the output. So these are the different ways of executing the Java program. So I am ending the class today. So please practice, start practicing in your desktops, computers. So in the tomorrow class, first 5 minutes, I will ask you everyone what programs you are practicing. So you need to share your screen and show me at least one example. So because without practicing, right, it is very tough to crack the interviews. So please start practicing. Okay. Thank you all. Have a nice evening. Thanks, Venkat.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.